Hey guys, it's Sophie. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome. So for today's video, we're talking all things throws. I'm walking you guys through a wide variety of throws with each apparatus from the most basic throws to very challenging throws used in different masteries, risks, all sorts of things throughout your routines. If you're planning to try some of these out, make sure you're somewhat warmed up because some of these throws will include things like walkovers, so just make sure you're ready for that. Otherwise, just grab your apparatus, make sure you have a high enough ceiling to not destroy anything, and yeah, let's get started. Alright, so starting off with hoop, the first thing we're going to do is just this most basic throw, with your arm coming down beside you, and then throwing the hoop straight up in the air. Now with all these throws, the key is to stop your hand just slightly above your head, but slightly in front of you, and that's really going to be the thing that controls the most where your apparatus goes. So really focus on that throughout all these throws. The next one we're going to do is this angled throw, so similar preparation, but now the hoop is on an angle, as you can see here. And this one helps if you're trying to catch the hoop in a rotation in some way, shape, or form, or maybe passing through it. It can be a little bit more helpful to throw the hoop on an angle, but you just want to make sure the hoop is not shaking in the air. It is just spinning around its axis on an angle. And I completely forgot to film this one, but we also have this flat throw here. So you're going to hold the hoop with two hands and just toss it up in the air. If you don't throw with equal power in both hands, it will start to kind of wobble in the air. So you want to make sure you're giving equal power from both hands. And I find sometimes winding up from the side can help you get a little bit more power to get it to throw higher. Next, we have this throw around the hoop's axis, so you can see you're kind of pushing it against your legs, and then it's doing a bunch of flips in the air. But again, this one you want to have equal power from both hands so that the hoop rotates nicely. You can start off with these little flips to make sure the hoop is rotating as you want it. And throws like this and the last one we did are helpful, again, if you want to pass through the hoop. That's typically what we find them used for, but with this one especially, you need to watch the rotation if you're trying to pass through. You can see that's what the hoop's going to look like if you don't push equally from both hands, which is not what we want. So focus on equal power from both hands so that it spins nicely in the air. Next up, we're going to do this throw behind, which gives us a no vision bonus if you're doing it in like a risk. So it's the same kind of angle, I guess, as the first throw we did, but now you're obviously throwing it behind you. So this one you really need to focus on bending your elbow a lot and a little bit of power from the wrist to get it in front of you, because obviously throwing behind, it's easy for the hoop to be behind you. So yeah, a little bit more power from the wrist to get the hoop in front of you. And then the next one here is a similar type of throw, but now we're rotating, so it gives you that extra rotation bonus if you're doing it in a risk. So you can see it's throwing behind your back as you're turning. Now with any of these throws that we're doing in rotation today, you want to make sure you get a full 360-degree rotation in. It's something that the judges are really looking out for, and if you don't complete it, you're not going to get credit for that rotation, which may lead to you missing out on points for like a whole mastery. You can see in slow-mo, that's what it looks like. You can do a catch jump, you can do a chaîné of some sort, as long as you're finishing that 360-degree rotation. Alright, next up we're going to do a similar type of angled throw that we did in the beginning, but it has an extra preparation. I don't think this is worth any extra. I think it's a nice connection and sometimes helps people get more power for that throw if you're doing it at risk. I would typically see this as the start of a risk. So you can see there's like a quick rotation above your head, a rotation under, almost like a figure 8, and then from there you kind of twist your arm and throw it on an angle. So again, you want to make sure you're in control of the hoop, that it's spinning nicely in the air, not wobbling all over the place, because that makes your life a lot more challenging. And again, it's just a matter of stopping your hand, but now it's sort of twisted, which adds a little extra layer of difficulty to it. Alright, we're going to start with some throws with the leg. So starting off, you're going to be stepping on the hoop with the first foot that comes back in your illusion, and yeah, you kind of just throw it off your leg in illusion. Now as you'll see, you can do this throw in like illusion, walkover, cartwheel, lots of different rotations. But with this one especially, you want to be careful because I think it's really easy to launch the hoop across the gym. So you want to be careful about where you're stopping your leg. Same kind of idea when you're practicing stopping your hand in the other throws. Now we want to focus on stopping your leg. So you really want to have control over when you're letting go of that hoop. I think even a little bit earlier on. If you find that the hoop is going way too far, then you probably need to let go of the hoop a little bit earlier. It's a great high value throw for a risk or mastery. Now, similar thing here, we're now going to be throwing the hoop on its axis. So again, this can be done in illusion, walkover, cartwheel, but now, as you can see, the setup is a little bit different. So again, here you want to watch the rotation, make sure it's rotating nicely in the air, not wobbling all over the place. I think the key with this one is to 1, have your hips squared, and 2, to step on the opposite end of the hoop from where your other foot is. So taking a bit of a wider step helps you get a nice clean rotation of the hoop in the air. These ones can be a bit challenging, but again, a very good way to get lots of value in the beginning of a risk. Or you can treat it as a mastery of a throw and pair it with a mastery of a catch. Lots of different uses of all these types of throws, really. Alright, the last throw we're going to do here is this boomerang throw. So you do a boomerang and kick the hoop up with your second foot in a walkover. Another great start to a mastery or a risk primarily. So yeah, with this one, you're just doing a boomerang, you're bringing yourself in front of the hoop so that by the time the hoop comes back to you, you are already halfway through your walkover and, like I said, kicking the hoop up with that second leg. You want to make sure when you're kicking the hoop, you're kicking it up from the middle, not on the side. You can see if you kick it up to the side, then the hoop will fly to the side. So you want to time it correctly so that you are kicking the hoop up in the middle of the hoop, if that makes sense. Alright, moving on to ball. We're going to start off again with the most basic throw. So you're going to hold the ball in one hand and just toss the ball from there. Right, again, stopping your hand. Don't worry about that catch, that was just me saving it, but ideally you want to catch it with one hand. You can start off with just small tosses to get the feel of it. Again, try to catch it with one hand is always ideal. Think of absorbing the weight of the ball when you're catching it. The power that you put in your fingertips can dictate a lot of where the ball ends up going, so make sure to stop your hands and control the power in your fingertips. Next up, we're going to do this sort of almost like a volleyball type of throw, I want to say, where you're throwing with two hands from your chest and then throwing above your head. It does kind of look like a volley, but it can be a good start to a risk. And then in a similar nature, we're still going to throw the ball with two hands, but now the ball is resting on the backs of your hands. And again, power from your fingertips to get the height on the ball here. This and the last one as well. And one thing I'll add with all of these throws is if you're going for a high throw, like a mastery of a high throw or a risk, the apparatus needs to be at least double your height. It needs to be like 2 of your heights above you, if that makes sense. Otherwise, your mastery or risk will not be valid. The next throw we have here is, again, with two hands, but from behind your head. So I think if you do this properly, you can get a no vision bonus, but again, the throw needs to be out of vision. Needs to be behind your head. So again, lots of power from the fingertips to get height on the throw. And yeah, it could be an extra little bonus for the start of your risk. Alright, next up, we're going to do this throw behind, similar to what we did with hoop. But yeah, this time, I think it's easier if your arm is straight to, 1, generate the power you need to get the ball in the air. Right, so with this one, as you can see, you can do lots of different movements under. You can throw it on its own, you can do a passé, a capriole, kind of like I did. So that's a great simple mastery there, or start to a risk. Now we're going to throw in a rotation, so similar throw, but now you are spinning. Again, make sure you complete that full 360 rotation. So this one, you're kind of turning on the outside and then stopping your hand to your side above you as you are rotating. Right, and again, it's all about stopping your hand. It's very easy for this one to go across the gym in any direction, so you want to make sure you're stopping your hand close to you. Then in a similar nature, we're going to toss the ball behind you, again, as we rotate. But now the ball is going kind of behind your back instead of off to the other side, if that makes sense. And this one, your arm will obviously need to be bent at some point. Yeah, so with this one, if you want to practice just doing small tosses with the rotation, I think that's a great way to get the timing and the feel of the ball, and then when you feel more comfortable, you can try with a high throw. For now, we're just trying to catch the ball. When you get more comfortable with all these throws, feel free to pair them with more challenging catches, and also different rotations underneath. All right, moving on to walkover throws. So you can see with this one, you're holding the ball as you prepare for the walkover and you throw on your way up. So with this one, it's important that you throw again as you're coming out of the walkover and not after your walkover, because otherwise the benefits or the extra bonuses you would get from doing that walkover will not count. You can also do this one from a roll to kind of pick the ball up as you're preparing for the walkover. You'll need to think about it as doing like a one-handed front walkover. You can also do this throw with illusion, although I feel like that is a little bit more challenging, but it is definitely a possibility. Be careful with the timing though if you're doing illusion. And similarly, you can do the same thing with cartwheel, although that was kind of difficult for me to coordinate. But, you know, try them all out and see what works best for you. Because what works best for one person isn't necessarily going to be the same as everyone else. And in a similar manner, we're going to do another walkover throw, but this time you're going to kick the ball up with your leg. So you can see that is my second leg in the walkover, that is kicking the ball. Yeah, you can do this one in cartwheel as well, but for me, it was much harder. All right, moving on to clubs. So again, let's start with the simplest throw. So just one club. You can put the other one down if you want. Just bring your arm down beside you and toss it in the air. Now with clubs, you need to be careful because they can rotate a lot in the air and it makes it harder to catch depending on how much it's spinning. So the power really needs to come from your arm instead of your wrist. If you flick your wrist too much, the club will spin too much. All right, now we have this flat throw here. So you want to find this kind of like sweet spot on your club where it can balance without tipping over on either side, and that's going to be where you throw from, because that way the club will stay pretty balanced in the air, otherwise it will likely spin out of control. Right, so that's what it would look like if you're not holding the club in the middle, so take the time to really find that sweet spot in the club. All right, next up, like we've been doing with hoop and ball, throw behind you, this time with straight arm. Yeah, just be careful because it's easy for this one to go out of control, both from a direction perspective, but also from how fast the club is spinning. So again, more power from your arm rather than your wrist. And you can do this one in passe, cartwheel, lots of different movements underneath. All right, the next one is kind of using one club to toss the other one in the air. So the way I'm doing this as a right-handed person is grabbing the head of the club with my right hand and the ball of the club with my left hand. And so you're gonna throw the club that's in your left hand. You're gonna keep holding the one that's holding the head of the club. And so the idea here is that it usually spins nicely in the air if you're doing it properly, and you get a no hands bonus for throwing it with the other club. But again, it's very easy for this one to spin out of control, so you want to make sure you're throwing it off of that sweet spot in the middle of the club, because this throw pairs nicely with any sort of catch where you're trapping the club. All right, now we're going to throw in rotation behind your back, right, similar to what we've been doing with hoop and ball. This one is all about timing, stopping your hand, and finishing that full rotation. Again, power from your arm instead of your wrist, because this one, the club can really fly out of control as well. I know I've repeated this like a million times already, but with these ones where you're doing a rotation, almost complete like 1 1/4 rotation, just to make sure the judges can spot that full rotation. All right, now we're gonna get into some throws with both clubs. So you got both clubs in one hand, just throwing them at the same time. All right, so let's talk about how to hold the club. Right, so you kind of have the two clubs in between your pointer, middle, and ring fingers. You want to hold them loose enough so that they have room to move and move together, but not loose enough, obviously, that they fall out of your hand. Try swinging the clubs back and forth like I'm doing here. If they're not moving together in these little swings, they're definitely not going to spin together in the air, so make sure you can get the clubs to move together. Because from there, when you let go of the clubs, they can very easily go all over the place, so that's why you have to make sure you have control over both of them, equal power coming out of your fingers. Because like you can see there, if you don't throw them with equal power, they can go in opposite directions and spin out of control, which makes a nightmare to catch in a routine. Alright, similarly, we can throw two clubs behind, just like we did with one club. This one is even more challenging. This is a great high value start to your risk, but again, high risk, high reward. It is very challenging. Alright, next up, we're going to talk about this notion of cascade, which is throwing one club and then the other, but before you throw the second one before you catch the first one. Alright, so you can throw the club in any way you want, but you throw the first club, and as it's coming down, you throw the second one. And kind of right after you throw the second one, you catch the first one again. So both clubs need to be in the air for a short period of time. You can practice doing this with small throws first just to get the hang of it. It's almost a little bit like juggling, but you only have to throw the club twice. But yeah, definitely try it with some smaller throws just to get the hang of it, because then you actually have a lot of freedom with what you can do with Cascade. Lots of different ways you can hold the clubs, different combinations of throws from each club that can give you lots of different bonuses, which makes it a really popular start for a risk. Right, so you can see here I'm throwing one from my leg and then one with my hand. Now just be careful, because there's that element of rushing a little bit where you want to get the second club in the air before the first club comes down. It's again easy to just quickly get the second club out of your hand and it'll spin out of control again. So give yourself the time and patience to throw that second club with control, because that's the one that's going to be doing a really high throw that you're going to be rotating under. Alright, next up we have walkover throws, similar to ball, where you do a walkover and as you're coming up, you let go of the club. So again, be careful with the timing of this one, make sure it's as you're coming up from the walkover. And you can also do this variation like with the ball, where you kick the club up with your foot in the walkover. Another variation is to do two clubs, to throw two clubs with that same preparation, which is very challenging, but can be a great high value start to your risk. Alright, moving on to ribbon. So let's start off with the simplest throw. This is what it looks like, but I'll walk you through the preparation of it. Alright, so I've got the ribbon in my left hand. You cross it over your body just to clear it out. Then you have the stick facing the ceiling, the ribbon facing down. You grab part of the pattern with your right hand, and that's going to do a circle, and you're going to release the pattern with your right hand. Or again, if you're a lefty, just reverse all of this. So the amount of pattern that you grab will kind of dictate how far the ribbon is thrown. Usually if you hold a smaller portion of the pattern, the ribbon will go further behind you, and if you hold a larger portion of the pattern, it will likely fly further in front of you. Alright, similar preparation, but now you throw the ribbon behind you, and this one I think is easier with a bent elbow. So again, same preparation, but now you're going to kind of twist your hand, as you can see here, to grab the ribbon, and then toss it behind you, power coming from the fingertips there, because you're not getting a lot of momentum from your arm, so if you're doing it with a bent elbow, a lot of the momentum is from your wrist. So actually, yeah, you can do this one either way, as I'm showing here. But yeah, make sure you're stopping your hand, as I've said about 1,000,000 times in this video already. Alright, the next one is the simple throw with like a nice preparation. I don't think there's any bonus to it, but it just looks nice, so I'm going to show you. You do a big circle, and then a small circle, and that small circle kind of turns into a flip. You flip the ribbon to grab the pattern and just toss it across your body from there. So all of this is happening for me in my right hand. Right, so that first big circle is mostly just to clear out the ribbon, get it out of your way, and then yeah, you do your small flip to put yourself in a good position to grab the fabric to throw. Yeah, I think it's just a nice preparation or connection into your risk, but like I said, I don't think it's worth anything extra, unfortunately. Alright, so another type of throw behind we can do is without that same kind of preparation. Sometimes if you want to have the ribbon more in motion, you can do it like this. So again, it's a quick circle to clear the ribbon, get in front of you, a flip to grab the pattern, and then a toss. So this, again, all happens with one hand, similar to the last throw we did. Okay, so this one you need to be high alert to move the ribbon out of the way, to react fast enough to grab the right part of the ribbon, and to toss it with precision. And similarly, you can do the same thing but throw in rotation, right? Similarly to what we've done with all the other apparatus, really. So you can kind of do this throw in a couple different ways. You can prepare the ribbon similarly to what we did in the last one, where everything is coming from the same hand, or you can do the other preparation where you're holding the stick with your left hand and then toss the fabric with your right hand, which I think can be a little easier, but you want to make sure the ribbon is not resting on the ground when you're doing that in your routine. Like if you're practicing, it doesn't matter, but in the routine you want to keep the ribbon off the floor as much as possible. Alright, next up we're going to start some throws with the leg. So I'll show you this preparation in a second, but you can see here you're going to step on the ribbon and toss it in an illusion here. But again, you can do this in cartwheel, walkover, as you'll see me do shortly. But let's focus on that preparation. So it's kind of just doing a bunch of different circles to clear the ribbon, to grab the pattern of it. You can see I've got 3 circles here, I think is a good amount for me. And then you toss the ribbon on the floor, enough to have a little bit of the pattern out. And yeah, so you can step on the ribbon and toss it from there. Similarly to how much of the fabric you grab with your hand, how far along the fabric you step is also going to dictate how far it goes. Also, yeah, the stick doesn't necessarily need to be on the floor. You can hold it like that. But yeah, either way, if you have more of the fabric out in front, the ribbon is likely to go further, but if you step closer to the stick, it'll likely fly a little bit closer to you, or maybe even behind you. So I would say play around with different preparations, whether you're holding the stick versus not, how far along the ribbon you're stepping, all those types of things. Alright, and then the next one here is tossing the ribbon in a walkover. I personally find this one difficult to get good height on, but if you can get good height on it, then great. But yeah, you're kicking it with your second foot, I believe, in the walkover. And so you can see you do a small kick to clear the ribbon under your legs, and then when your second leg comes around, that's the one that kicks up the ribbon. Just yeah, make sure your ribbon is off the floor, unlike mine in that last attempt. Sometimes I find it helpful to just hold the end of the ribbon for a bit, but I don't know if that's considered a throw or not. Alright, next one here is, again, throw an illusion, except it's a little bit more of a dynamic preparation, right? You're doing a big circle, and then as it comes down, you position your foot on the ribbon. You can also do this one with just a kick, you can do it with illusion, or you can do it with this little hop like I've had in my routine previously. But yeah, that is all the throws that I could think of.
Alright, and that is going to be it for today's video, so I hope you guys enjoyed or found this helpful in some way, shape, or form. If you have any suggestions for future tutorials or any other types of videos, feel free to leave them down below. I will try to be a little bit more active and not post once every 6 months, but we will see how well I do at that. But otherwise, you know the drill, and I will see you guys hopefully soon with a brand new video. Bye!